Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Since 1984, our guest has been facilitating life changes for thousands of people around the world, showing them how to access their internal resources to self-heal, discover inner conflict, and find peace in their busy lives. And today she's going to show you how to feel healthy, happy, and vital. Please put your hands together and help us welcome to the Mental Detox podcast, our good friend, Julie Lewin. Welcome.
Welcome, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
I love the color scheme today. I love the purity of the white with the matching glasses so you can see the pureness. I love that. Now,
thank you.
We're fascinated and we want to know, how did you discover this amazing skill set, and what was your journey to discover it, and how has it evolved since? Because I think people who are medical intuitives, they have this skill set, but people like us want to know, how did you get it and why don't we have it? So how did you find your skill set?
So it's a very interesting adventure. I was 25. I was a new mum. I had a 7-month-old baby. And we were struggling in our marriage, and my friend came to visit and she could see that I was struggling, and she said I wasn't listening to her advice. So she bought me a reading with a clairvoyant. Now, I grew up in churches and Sunday school, and that was like telling me I had a date with the devil.
No.
And that one, yes. And so I said, no. So it was quite traumatic for me to go. But anyway, she convinced me to go. And he said to me, if you keep going the way that you are, your marriage will fail. You will be very unhappy. You will be ill in your 30s and 40s and die at 53. Now, that's a half an hour condensed into a couple of sentences. And he said, but you have a nun and a monk beside you, and if you choose the alternate destiny that is available for you, then you will overcome the illnesses in your 30s and 40s. Your marriage will survive. You will have many happy moments in your life. You will live into your 90s and be of great benefit to the world because you have a special gift of X-ray vision. You can see inside of people's bodies. And I knew the truth because I was planning to leave my husband. I was already unwell. And so I decided I didn't want to die at 53. And I had to figure out how to see inside of people's bodies. When I asked him how I did that, he went like this: I'm the messenger. You have to find the way. So that's how my journey began. And there were no teachers 35 years ago doing this. So I lay in bed at night and I said, God, if you want me to do this, you show me how. And I started seeing images on the ceiling. So that was a bit freaky. And I remember the movie from the 70s where they shrunk a scientist down in a submarine, and he went in through the tear duct and he traveled through the human body. That's how I started. I thought, well, if they can do it in movie land, then I can do it in my imagination. And so I practiced and practiced for 10 years. Anyone who would let me practice, I would. And my dad let me practice on him. And I went in and I saw all of this stuff. And the next morning he said, what did you see? And I told him about his esophagus. And then I said, what happened behind your right knee? He said, how do you know that? Not even your mother knows that. That happened in the war. And I said, Dad, I'm just telling you what I saw. He said, okay. And then the next night he said, are you going in again? I said, I wasn't planning to, but if you would like me to, I will. So he lay in one room, I was in the other. And I lost my confidence because what I saw was different to the day before. And the next morning he said to me, what did you see? I said, oh, Dad, I think I'm just having a lend of myself, making it all up. He said, no, tell me what you saw. And I said, well, there was all this white stuff. His face went as white as my top. He said, I drank white medicine before I lay down, but I didn't know that.
Wow.
And so that was that catapult of, oh my goodness, I am inside. I have learned how to do this.
Yeah.
And so that was when everything kind of took off. And then in 1994, I was on the TV show The Extraordinary, and they tested me on people in other cities in Australia, and I was telling them what was going on. So then I got tens of thousands of letters. This is old school, no internet, landline phones, and snail mail. It was exactly like that, yes. And so I responded to all of those letters, and it took me 3 years to work through working with people, 8 people a day. And so as a result of that, I was telling people what I saw, and that was taking me about a half an hour to go from here to the feet. And I thought, man, I'm sending these people away with no solution. So I did a little chat with up above and said, show me how I can help these people. So I started putting my hands on, and then people started saying, what are you doing? I said, why? What's happening? And they said, I can feel things moving around inside, like their hands actually inside of me. And I said, wow. So I was seeing a movie in my mind. They were feeling something physically in their body, and outcomes were happening that were healing. So then I thought, what if that movie that I saw spontaneously with this person would work over here with this person with similar symptoms? And it did. So I've developed over 100 of those visualizing specific movies that I now teach people how they can self-heal and do the work without me having to be present. So I kept saying half an hour's too long. So then it cut down to 15 minutes, and I said, no, that's too long. So it cut down to 10 and then 5. So I can scan somebody now where I feel it in my body in about 3 minutes. And my body, I've developed a body language that tells me what's going on. And then I talk with my client about that, and they go, yes, yes, yes. And they go, this is so freaky. How do you know all of this about me? And then we start, I said, that's not the magic. That to me is the ordinary. The magic is that I can actually guide my clients to transform their body. Some people go from being numb for 40 years in parts of their body to feeling. One girl couldn't get off the sofa. Her feet were so sore, and then she's walking. So it's quite remarkable, the capacity of the human being to recalibrate itself. And I'm not in there with my energy making things happen like I'm a magician. I simply am the facilitator and guiding, and people are doing the healing themselves. So that's been my journey from not having any plan for my life as a 25-year-old to having created a healing modality where people can self-heal.
Amazing. And we believe that you've got some workshops coming up, and people can learn more about your workshops at julielewin.com. Can you give us a quick insight
Absolutely.
to the workshops you've got coming up in the next month or two?
Yes, I've got 2 coming up, one in Melbourne, one in Brisbane, and they're deep experiential experiences where the top 12 of those visualizing movies that I've downloaded, they will be lying on a beanbag with their meditation shawl, soft music, low lights, and listening to my voice, guiding them through their body. So it's 2.5 days of healing. Yeah.
Incredible. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to learn more about Julie's work, head over to her website right now, julielewin.com. And I'd also recommend that you speak to Julie personally. Nini and I have done this type of work in the past. Nini did it after she had 3 major knee reconstructive surgeries. And having somebody facilitate that process enabled the knee to start to heal.
Yeah.
All the pain disappeared, all the heat disappeared. She'd taken all the medicine,
Exactly.
listened to all the Western doctors, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Work with somebody like yourself and phenomenal changes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Julie,
It
thank
does.
you. We appreciate you joining us and sharing an insight into your life and the work that you're doing with your clients. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
joining us.
Our pleasure. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.